fact that it's hard makes it better. The fact that it's not easy makes it more desirable.
What would you say to someone who's kind of just starting out right now and they're struggling to scale and they're struggling to break past even just 10K a month?
I think the biggest thing is that you just never know what's around the corner. If you're doing the right things, the doors will open. If people believe in you and what you do and what you're saying, and you believe in it, then you're going to make it happen.
What's the big hairy ass goal for the next 12 months? What are you trying to achieve right now in the agency? So, Ollie, just made one of your clients $1 million in a month, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a wild first month with me. Set the expectation.
That was the first month?
First month. Yeah, I think we had something like 230 leads come through Facebook, and so 230 leads. I think the ad spend was $1,700 Aussie dollars. So,
Wow.
Expectations are definitely high, which is dangerous for me.
That's awesome. I mean, I suppose you probably don't want to go into what that industry is because you got a pretty awesome opportunity there. But correct me if I'm wrong. So is this a lead generation service, a lead gen client presumably, and are you appointment setting on the back end of that as well?
Yeah. So full lead gen to appointment setting. So Facebook ad form into the whole lead gen systems, and booking the Zoom calls, which has been pretty cool. Like it's cool to see it all in action, right? It's the qualification. It's interesting as well, having the qualification process being quite fluid. There wasn't a lot of questions, but we seem to be getting a fair few, like a lot of decent leads out of that 200. So it's been really cool. But yeah, you're right. I don't want to give away the industry.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Certainly not on this video, at least. Anyway, we'll talk about it behind the scenes. That's cool. So, but you even just a few months ago, right? You didn't have any lead generation or ad experience in your agency.
Not within the agency. I had before, like prior, working at agencies in the past. But no, I hadn't done anything sort of in my business prior to.
Fine. That's awesome.
Prior to hearing about you, Jordan.
Nice. So what's that journey been like? So you started your agency how long ago, and you're at what kind of revenue level now?
So I started my agency in February, middle of Feb. I quit my job, and to be totally honest with you, the day after I started, so sort of went cold turkey. But started there obviously from scratch, and then hit 30K revenue last month, which was pretty cool. Not all of that was recurring, but I mean, still, if I said to myself 4 months ago that's where I'd be looking to hire someone, I'd laugh you out the door, right? It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. That's such a lot of growth in such a small amount of time. What has been the catalyst to you being able to scale that quickly?
Yeah, look, it's been a lot of growth in a short period of time, and to be upfront, that majority of that growth has happened in the last month. The last sort of 4 to 6 weeks is when it's all happened, and the catalyst, I'd say, is having the processes in place, which I've learned more in the last 6 weeks, than I have in my life about all this stuff. Going through the academy, all that sort of stuff, is learning the processes, the systems, having Notion set up, having ClickUp running, having Fireflies, have Slack, WhatsApp, just all these different processes just made it achievable. You know what I mean? Without that, it's not achievable. I went from working 12-hour days every day, weekends included, to now having a bit of extra time because I've got all the stuff in place. Like Fireflies takes all the notes. It's automated to go into the client's dashboard in Notion, goes into Slack. It's just like, that alone saves me 2 hours a day.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. It's so nice that you've gone from the reverse of most people. Most people go from like an 8-hour day to a 12-hour day in the agency, but somehow you managed to save yourself some time. It probably won't always be that case, and it's probably going to get busier at some point soon. But what's been the main client acquisition strategy then? Because like people listening to this thinking 30K in 4 months, essentially 3 or 4 months, is huge growth. So how have you been actually getting those clients in?
A lot of it is referrals, to be totally honest with you. I'm in Perth, Australia, and it's a small place. It's a big place, but it's a small little town, and a lot of it is who you know. Um, and like I said, I've had a few clients who have, we've done well for, and there's just been a lot of referrals off the back of that, which has been really cool. But I've also started running my own Facebook ads, which it's been good, and I've landed four clients. Oh, sorry, not four clients. I've landed four sales calls off the back of that, secured two clients, and got two sales calls early next week from it. So yeah, referral has been the main client acquisition system at the moment. But yeah, a bit of lead gen
Nice.
coming
And are
through
they
too.
existing relationships from the referrals, or did you outreach to like certain partners to build those relationships?
Um, Existing and outreach, so a bit of both. There's a few people who have sort of reached out to going, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. There's obviously, I can add value to you. Obviously didn't say it like that, but that's the whole. How do you add value to someone? No one's just going to listen to you if you go, I can make you $1 million. But if you go, well, this is what we can do for you, and this is how we're going to do it. That for me has got the response, right. That's what people have reacted to and reacted well to.
So how you reach out to those partners on what platform? How did you secure them in the first place?
Um, a lot of it's just been real casual, to be honest. A lot of it's just been like Facebook message, Instagram message, just keeping it real casual. Hey mate,
Yeah.
how are you? Sort of thing.
It's one of these things I've been preaching about a lot recently. It's just like the power of referrals are just so, and partners are just so incredible, especially in. I mean, it's actually quite difficult, and I'm interested to unpack it in the early stages of the agency because you don't have as much credibility as you need to build those relationships. But it's certainly when you're established and you've got clients and you've got case studies and you've got enough to talk about and you've got knowledge, it's such a powerful way to be able to get an influx of clients because you don't even have to sell. When someone refers you and you're piggybacking off that relationship that somebody already has, the sales process is
Yeah.
so much more simplified and so much easier. But how, did you struggle to find that you had enough authority to be able to build those relationships, and how did you pave those conversations to kind of get your foot in the door?
Yeah, for sure. That's a really, really good point to bring up. I think initially, because I worked in a couple of agencies before I started my own, and my background is purely SEO. So I was really lucky. One of my first marketing boss, Brad, who got a lot of time and respect for. He's been nothing but fantastic to me throughout the years. Gave me an opportunity when no one else did during COVID, and forever be grateful. But when I was with him, we had two SEO projects. One of them was he got a finalist in SEMrush Awards, and the other one was Global Search Awards. So from the back of that, I had a fair bit of authority going into meetings on my own with that behind me. And I don't think I mentioned when I first started my agency, I started as full full service websites, SEO, ads, like here I
Mm.
am doing everything, which was a mistake. I was pretty naive to think that I could do it all on my own. Um, but uh, yeah, I think the authority came from having those wins, which are pretty big wins, um, in the past. I think that's sort of where sort of
Yeah.
bridge that gap.
And for anybody who's listening to this right now who maybe doesn't have that previous win to leverage or that previous leverage, what would be your recommendation, or how would you pave that conversation of being on the receiving end of these relationships now? Do you think it's possible and realistic for people to secure these kind of relationships without the leverage? And if so, how would we pave that?
Yeah, of course, 100% possible. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that people buy from people. You don't have to have all the case studies in the world or the authority. If people believe in you and what you do and what you're saying, and you believe in it, then you're going to make it happen. And I think you touched on it as well in Renault Reach. Was it Renault? No, was it Renault Reach? No,
Yeah,
Mason Flow.
basic
Mason
flow.
Flow today. The whole free trial thing, right? It's the best thing you can do, and I did it a few times at the beginning. You're asking for an opportunity to show what you can do in return for you know for a bit of experience. And I just had today client come off a free trial, and within an hour paid the invoice. Is they've got they know what you can do. You've proven yourself against other people. You don't need that authority prior because you believe in what you're saying. You know what you're doing. But it's just about having that confidence and the belief, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you have to, and in a way, you have to, in many cases, embody the person that the other person needs you to be in order to build that relationship in the first place. And once you do, you fill those boots, you have to make sure you actually walk the walk or walk the talk, I should say, rather than that. So I think in many cases and many opportunities in life, we jump into the shoes of somebody that we aren't already. And we have to just make sure that we actually fill those boots when we get that opportunity.
That's it. And it's also like, how do you solve the problem, right? People, companies, businesses need leads. People need, you need that. Lead generation is a very valuable service for every business, right? How do you fill that gap? If you have confidence in going, I can help you. This is how we're going to do it. Map it out. Make it as simple as possible. Like Nick, one of the guys who I actually met in the academy, who's in Perth, he was telling me the other day how he literally gets a notepad out and goes, your car, I'm bringing the fuel to your car, and I'm powering your car to drive further. And he goes, it works a charm because you can, people can see how you're doing it, and there's a confidence. You're solving the problem. You're solving the problem that they may or may not have known that they had, and that's where you build your own authority, right? That's where you build your personal brand. That's the
Yeah.
that's the key there, I
Personal
reckon.
branding something that you're interested in exploring? Are you building your own kind of personal at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'd love to, and I will do, for sure. It's just about finding the time at the moment. I've had a huge influx of clients, like I said, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, and the one thing that I don't want to do is compromise on quality. I actually made a mistake the other week where I didn't proof, I didn't proof some copy from a copywriter, and it wasn't good. It was my mistake. Put my hands up and say I messed up. But it was a wake up call. It's great having these numbers coming in and the numbers on the board, get the runs off. It's cool. You're chasing numbers, but you also, for me, quality is imperative, and just don't want to ever compromise on that. So yes, I do want to build a personal brand, but I feel like at the moment, me doing my business is building a personal brand on the side.
Yeah.
I think, and when I have a bit more time, when I've got a few, one or two are working for us, and I've got a bit of time to sit down and build that out, then I will, because I just don't want to, half-ass things. I don't want to do things not properly.
Yeah.
And again, like you said today was it Mason Flow? If you focus on one task a day, that'll take you 8 hours to finish. So
Yeah, it is difficult to know when the right time is to stack on something additional. I think the thing is with personal branding though is it's one of those tasks or just one of those channels that you grow. I mean, you've actually arguably we can call it strategic partnerships and referrals and so on, which is where the clients have come from. But really, the way you've been able to secure them is through personal brand already. It's whilst personal brand in many cases people will think that's followers online or that's a social media presence. Like your personal brand is the way you're perceived in your local area and the relationships that you have, and so you're already harnessing that, but just in a different sense. And you haven't got to now making that kind of public presence on social yet. Which is quite interesting because you may not see it as that, but that is what it is. Yeah, it's similar to
yeah,
Joe. Joe, my business partner in the agency, Joe's got such a great physical presence in person and so many physical relationships and partnerships and referrals that he has, and he's only now really got down to taking ownership of his social media.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I don't even post on my personal social media near as much as I should. I don't know. Should you post on like say I've recently just been so consumed with doing the work and fulfillment that everything just sort of falls by the wayside. But you're right. You're 100%. Personal brand's built in everything that you do. It's who you are. It's how people perceive you. Whether that's in person, how you conduct yourself and all that sort of stuff. Is you're building it regardless while you're working away. So yeah, you've definitely hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. So look, regardless of new business growth, you are at a point now, presumably, where if you're a one-man band doing 30K a month, you're pretty stretched, right? You must be like a swan running underwater, right? In that sense. So, we had the conversation just before this. You said you wanted to hire somebody now to work kind of on the media buying side of things. Have you now turned down the taps when it comes to client acquisition to just focus on the service delivery? How has it been? Are you still focusing on sales? What does that balance look like at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, at the moment the focus is on service delivery. Like I said, Perth's a small enough place. You don't want to do the wrong thing, or you don't want to, reputation is pretty paramount. In Perth, obviously, I work in Australia wide, but in Perth, yeah. So focusing on service delivery, looking to hire. It's been. Sorry, I messed that up. Can we take that out of your thing?
Of course, of course.
What was the question? Sorry.
How is the balance between service and sales now, and have you turned off the taps when it comes to sales?
Yeah. So definitely turn the taps off at the moment. It's been one of those things where I haven't actually, like I said, I haven't actually chased a lot of work recently. Like I think I've only done 20 cold calls. I'm just warming up an email, a domain now. So I haven't really done a lot in terms of outreach. So the taps are off, but I'm always open to new opportunities. You never know where that's going to take you. I mean, the guy that how we started the 200 leads from working with him, managed to secure a contract doing some crowdfunding campaign for an electric plane company, which is just awesome. So
That's cool.
you just never know where things are going to take you, and from that, if that all goes well, then the platform said that they'll put us as a recommended provider. So there's little things like that where you just yeah, the taps are off, but you've still got to explore every opportunity because you just never know what door is going to open from it. This could be a great opportunity. We could do really well. And then from there, if Birch will put us on their platform, that could be your niche, right? That could completely change the direction of the agency.
Yeah.
But I think, and shout out to Ollie, my coach in the academy. He's been really, really paramount in helping me get to sort of where I am. I sat down with him 2 weeks ago. I was like, mate, my day's all over the place. Really just have no structure, and it's my fault. I'm the only one to blame. But we sat down and we created a day. So from 9 till 5, or 7 till 5, sorry, 7 till 11, we've got service delivery. 11 till 12, outreach. 12 till 1, outreach. Client meetings in the afternoon, and then a bit of extra admin or service delivery. And then obviously anything outside of that, which there's been a lot of, as we know, is more just sort of fulfillment. But that's been a really good way to help not only break up the day, but structure that difference between, right, we're working now. Let's get the black noise on, headphones, no one's distracting me. And then to, cool, all right, now we've got to put a different hat on. Sales, let's jump on the phone, let's do a bit of outreach, whatever it is. And I think, it's important to, even if you're not selling, it's important to still network. A mentor of mine over here said to me, if you're not talking to 20 people a week, regardless, you're doing something wrong. 20 new people a week, you're doing something wrong if you're not doing that.
That's a
Um,
big number of people. That's very interesting. Have you been following that since starting the agency, like 20 people a week, or have you got close to that?
I reckon I've hit at least 10 a week. And whether that's just, following someone on Instagram or,
Yeah.
um, well, actually, I haven't followed anyone on Instagram, but I mean, like on LinkedIn, whether it's, connecting with someone, all that sort of stuff. I have tried to hit that 10 to 20 a
So we're not
week.
talking
And
like full-on Zoom conversations. We're kind of just like reaching out to people, presumably, or
yeah,
aiming to have proper conversations with these individuals.
well, look, the aim's always to reach out and talk to someone, right? But I think it's about putting the foundations out, uh, connecting with people on LinkedIn, adding a little note, having a message, just messaging people, hey, how are you? This is my offer, um, all that sort of stuff. Adding value, and the proof's in the pudding. I've done it a few times where it's resulted in clients, and you only need if you're talking to 20 people a week, just from personal outreach, and you book, 2 calls a week. That's what 8 calls
Yeah.
a month. If your close rate's 25%, 50%, that's 4 clients a month. It's nothing beats that.
100% from an outreach perspective, yeah, you need to be speaking to a minimum of 20 people a week if it's from an outreach perspective. I kind of took that as like networking calls, like 20 calls a week from like a networking perspective, which for me seems like a huge amount. I don't know where I'd find the time, but I can see why that would be so valuable. It's for something interesting that even just over the last 6 months, me and Joe made the commitment that every week we speak to one new person as far as networking concerned. I mean, outreach is very different. We're reaching out to probably 6 to 10,000 people a week, so that's a different ball game. But as far as networking is concerned, we're having one good Zoom call each per week with somebody different, and it's normally like an industry leader in a different space. This week I spoke to someone who owns one of the biggest accounting firms in the UK, and it was a really interesting conversation. Just because we're just advancing a lot of strategic partners, but I see a huge amount of value in that. There's so much opportunity to come from just conversations with new people who are doing something different to you.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? There's probably a lot of value in what you said as well about having one call, one really, really good call, as opposed to 20 LinkedIn messages. Like, there's probably, I mean, you'd like to think from 20 LinkedIn messages, you get one good call,
Yeah,
but but having the KPI as one good call,
yeah.
um, there's probably more value in that.
Yeah, it's good to know what result you're actually aiming for there. Awesome, man. So
Yeah.
coming into now scaling the agency, you're getting a lot of clients in. You're delivering a great service to them. What is the plan? What's the big hairy ass goal for the next like 12 months to 24 months? What are you trying to achieve right now in the agency?
It's it's such a strange question, that, because if you asked me that 4 months ago, I'd say where I am right now.
Mm,
If I would have said less. I probably would have said 10K a month if you asked
yeah,
me 4 months ago. But now I've sort of proved that there's there's legs, right? I've proved that I can get to here. For me, the next 12 months is about taking it to 100K a month. You know, why not? Let's build a team. Let's scale. Let's build a team around us. Let's
yeah,
grow together. But the idea of that is like I said before, there's no compromise on quality. We're delivering an ethical service that is primed to get results. That's it.
mm,
It's a results driven business, and I don't have any lock-in contracts on any of my clients. The idea is the results
yeah,
speak for itself. I don't. At the end of the day, you don't. If someone doesn't want to pay you, they're not. It's. I don't want to have that argument. I'd rather say I haven't got the results for you, so I understand, rather
agreed.
than hold on. We're in a contract here. Um, so yeah, the goal 100% is to get to the 100K a month mark. That would be absolutely crazy, and it's
Yeah.
a wild goal. It is, for me,
Well,
it's
you've joined
outrageous.
you've gone from the academy to now joining us in Elite, and obviously academy served you well, I can only presume, and now you've joined us in Elite, which is obviously our Ascension program, and the whole purpose of that is to get you beyond 100k a month. So I have no doubt that with us guiding you there, and you're obviously a killer operator, you're going to get to that point within the next 12 months. At least, like you could, on your current run rate, I would not be surprised if in 6 months' time we're having a conversation, you're already at 100k a month. The bottleneck is going to be team. That's going to be, you're going to hit a point where team is going to be the thing that limits that growth. It's not going to be client acquisition. So,
Yeah, for sure. 100%. It's yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and you know what? Like, I wouldn't be anywhere near here, and I'm not just saying this, but I wouldn't be anywhere near here if it wasn't for for the academy. Just from little, and it really boils down to the little things. Like Ollie said to me in one of my calls, he goes, mate, before you get to the close, ask your client in your sales call, before you get to the close, ask your client, why now? You could have done this 6 months ago, you could have done it in 6 months time, but why is it right now that you want to do this? And then follow that up with, why me? There's plenty of people offering a similar service with crazy guarantees. So why me? And Jordan, I've closed people have closed themselves off me asking that. It's and it's not, yes, it's a sales tactic, but it's a psychology thing. They're reaffirming to themselves why they believe in what I do, and it really goes all the way back to the beginning when we talked about the authority. You build authority by doing things like that, by asking those questions, and it's little things like that that the academy has excelled me and my growth in, which has been phenomenal. Not to mention, the resources, the resources that got access to have saved me months and months and months of time.
What has been more valuable to you, having access to resources or mentorship? Because I think it's different for every person. I'm just interested.
Yeah, it is really different. I think the mentorship's probably been the best thing for me, especially since joining Elite, having access to those 10 calls a week. Obviously, I'm trying to get to as many as I can. But even just little things, like I said to you before, how I'm running Notion, ClickUp, Slack, WhatsApp, and I'm sure a lot of agencies are running those sorts of programs. But I was talking, I can't remember which coach it was, but I was talking on Monday. It was the Monday Arvo call. Is it Lucas? No.
Monday afternoon, it would have been. It's very possible that could have been. No, it wasn't Rory. That would have been Nicholas.
No, it wasn't. Nicholas, that's it. It was talking to him for like 20 minutes in that call about automation, setting up all this stuff, and we're just going through A to Z. And I was like, wow, these tools. I thought I knew how to use these tools. It's like, it's just
Nicholas is a G when it comes to automation.
Oh, it was I was just sitting there like gobsmacked. I was like, what? We're meant to be running these programs and these tools, and I was like, man, I've learned from you. I'm coming to every single one of these calls, so I think the mentorship's been the most valuable bit. Just like you say, learning from people that have done it before, beats resources, beats time, because you save so much of it, right?
100%. It's something, and this is the reason why. And it took me 2 years to invest in mentorship myself. But there's never at any point of business now where I won't have at least one mentor just helping me get to another stage, regardless of what it is I'm trying to achieve. I don't think it matters what you're trying to achieve. Every single ounce of business is just about a bridge between knowledge, but also most importantly experience, and the ability to skip past the mistakes that you're going to inevitably make when trying to apply that knowledge. And that's why courses in so many cases are not redundant, but courses in absence of mentorship are not much more valuable than a detailed YouTube video. You need that support from somebody that's done the thing, so you can have even just sometimes a 5-minute conversation is more valuable than 5 hours worth of online training that you could watch. And so it's important to have that resource to back up the words, and you can revert back to in your own time. But those conversations are invaluable, which is why we have those 10 calls in Elite. And by design, it's not there so you have to attend every single call. That's a serious amount of calls, and some of the guys inside are attempting to do that. But 10 hours, or really because they run over 10 to 15 hours a week, it's a lot of opportunity to speak to people. And it's only because we just want to make sure that at any one time, at any day, you could come off this call, and in 1 hour's time, you could jump on a call with someone that's already built a multi-seven-figure agency, and they can guide you with whatever thing that you need or whatever challenge you're trying to overcome in this moment in time. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm I'm not surprised, but I'm taken aback by how how much care and passion there is in it as well, right? The other week, we're going around the call, and I asked my question, and it, it could have required a simple answer. It could have required I would just do it this way. But it was a 20-minute conversation about how and why and an execution example. I put it into play the next day, made three follow-up calls, and booked three meetings. And one of the guys called me back 5 minutes later and said, let's get started. So it's like, it is more than, it's the next level. They go, it's crazy. I was apprehensive before I started. I followed you on YouTube and got a crazy amount of value, and I was apprehensive. But honestly, joining this academy, like I said to you before, joining this academy and coming through Elite has literally been life changing. Which is which is scary to say, but it's the truth. Like I said, what I've achieved in the last 6 weeks would have taken me a year to do. I'd still be running a broad, wide scale agency now. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't working. It was successful after referrals, but in terms of bringing in new work and outreach, I wouldn't have failed because I wouldn't have let it fail, but it wouldn't have been an easy ride.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, that 30K in 3 or 4 months. Now we'll just do 100K in 6 to 12. Let's see what happens. Do you have any selfish desires surrounding your financial goals? Have you changed your lifestyle? Have you even had the chance to adapt to the fact that you're making more money now? Are you tunnel vision in the business? What's happening in like the personal life of Ollie?
Yeah, I'm tunnel vision at the moment.
Nice.
I haven't. I put myself on the same salary I was earning at my previous job. I've tried to not let any of that change, any of the financial stuff change,
Mm,
because my big thing is I just want to reinvest it all. I just want to learn and grow and reinvest it, which is why I joined the academy, joined Elite. It's about
yeah.
reinvesting because that's in the long run that's what's going to matter, right? That's how it works. But the personal life has been it's been interesting. I've spent so much time, I think, working that it's been a lonely enough journey. But I'm so blessed to have the people around me, like the friends and family, and my girlfriend around me that have carried me through, have, picked me up every now and then. Ollie, how are you? You're a bit quiet last time I saw you. Is everything all good? Yeah, just busy working. Like
Yeah.
I'm really blessed, but yeah, the personal life's been
Yeah.
it's changed. Put it that way. It's the 9 to 5 is I understand why people enjoy it, having the clock in, clock out. Like I really do. Um, but obviously got my goals, my personal goals, and my why. So that's driving me at the moment.
Yeah. What is it that drives you?
I just want to be able to be financially stable and provide. I think that's without sounding like without sounding like an idiot.
But
I
you
think
could do
that's
that
that.
right now. You could operationalize your business. You could hire 1 or 2 team members and maintain 30K a month. So why scale to 100K?
Um, I think I've proved to myself that I can break down barriers, and I just maybe it's my addictive personality, but I just want to you know break more barriers. I just want to
Yeah.
prove to myself. It's not, and it's got nothing to do with anyone else. It's got nothing to do with proving anyone wrong that maybe didn't believe in me or anything like that. It's just it's a game against myself now. It's great. We've got to this far and we're doing it well. We're getting results. Let's take it to the next level. Let's take it to the next level again. And it ties back into the why. It's like I just want to provide. I want to be able to provide. I want to be able to be really really comfortable.
Yeah.
And to do that, you obviously need to take risks
Yeah.
and break down the barriers.
Yeah. It's one thing being able to sustain a really decent income. It's another thing making so much wealth that you don't even have to care about what money is anymore, and the people around you don't have to care about it either. I think you get to that point actually sooner than I think you realize, and I'm not sure what point that actually was for me. Maybe it was realistically probably around like 200k a month. Then you're just like, this really doesn't matter anymore from a financial perspective. Like, it doesn't. You can spend as much money as you want, and you just keep making more at the end of every single month. And that even when you're spending 20k on some kind of coaching, which I've done, and you still, that money comes back, or you buy a couple of watches and the money comes back in a couple of weeks, and you're like, now it doesn't really matter anymore. But it does become, and at every stage, it's all about that self confidence and that self desire to just keep smashing through these goals. And I think it just becomes an obsession. And whatever drives that obsession is kind of irrelevant. It's so much healthier and more fun to play this game of business than it is to be obsessed about. There's 1,000 other things you could be obsessed about spending your time doing. It's a very interesting journey, this journey of entrepreneurship that we're all on. But it's so great to be surrounded by other people who are on that path, which is why places like Elite and friendship circles inside a business are such a great place. You just fuel each other and smashing those goals.
That's it, and it's inspiring as well, right? Like it is inspiring in the group. You see everyone, ringing the bell and smashing their goals, and you go, well, like, this is awesome. You just want to sort of, it makes you want to keep going, right? It's a motivating feeling. But you are right. It probably will get to a point where it's not about the money, and it's more about the attitude and the desire just to keep doing more. But yeah, the community's been huge as well. I think that's a really really important factor, especially talking about the personal life, having that community around. Like I said, met Nick, who's over here in Perth as well, and we've been catching up every week, just having a beer and having a chat about everything.
You met in person?
Yeah. We're catching up like every week at the moment. Yeah, it's awesome. It's just it's so cool, right? Because you're both on the same journey. You're both striving for the same things, and he's helped me with countless things that we've got, and he's asked me questions, I've asked him questions. It's been really really good to have that sort of local network, and we're trying to look at how we can integrate AI and things, and it's just fun to do it with someone that's right there as well. You know what I mean? I'm sure you got the same with with all the guys over in the UK with you, but over in lonely Australia with the academy, it's nice to have it's nice to have that connection as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. What would you say to someone who's kind of just starting out right now, and they're kind of looking at someone like yourself, and it feels alien to them? They're struggling to scale and they're struggling to break past that level. What would you say is kind of the most important thing for that person to bear in mind if they actually want to hit, regardless of 100k a month, even just 10k a month at the moment?
I think the biggest thing is that you just never know what's around the corner. You just got to keep going, keep doing what you're doing, because if you're doing the right things, the doors will open. And that's it. When you're going through cold calls, it can be tough. I worked in recruitment for a few years, and cold calling sucks.
Yeah.
Cold calling sucks, but you just never know what's going to happen on the next call. And you start to pick up tricks and skills and everything that you go, well, now I know it works. So you start to get better results. But the biggest thing is just keep going. It's a long road, and the fact that it's hard makes it better. The fact that it's not easy makes it better, makes it more desirable.
it's that you wouldn't get the satisfaction out of it if it was easy. Like, it wouldn't be worth it if it was easy. Like, I think we convince ourselves we want the easy path and we want something that's going to be straightforward. When actually when you do those and you follow those quick wins, it's like going out and getting pissed all the time just because of that's a quick way to think that you're going to feel happy, and actually then you end up being even more miserable at the end of that, and you have the blues at the end of the night and all of that. I think, like with everything in business, it's very difficult, and the challenge is what makes the reward so rewarding. I couldn't agree more. Like, persistence and consistency is the most important thing, and that is why 99% of people fail, because they give up, and you cannot fail if you don't give up. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 months or it's 3 months, or it's 6 months or it's 6 years. The only thing that will stop you hitting that goal is giving up at some point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think another really big thing to consider as well is to maintain the relationships around you. Because like I said, and as I'm sure you've experienced, or everyone that's on this journey knows, it can be a lonely path. You can sit, like I sit here in the office for 12 hours a day some days, and you only speak to someone on a Zoom call. So it's you've gone from working in an office with 20 people, having a coffee every day, having a tea every half an hour, to going to the kitchen, seeing the dog. What I mean? Maintaining the relationships around you is paramount, I think, and not forgetting that they're there as well.
Yeah, it's very easy to bunker yourself in for 15 hours a day and just not see anyone. And I think sometimes you can sustain that, but then you do feel it over a certain period of time. You're like, this isn't scientifically what my body needs right now. And you crave that human interaction.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Exercise is paramount. Go for a walk, go on the block, whatever it is, clear the head.
Yeah.
And you do a bit of work for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, and you gain the clarity, and it's when you're working out or you go for a walk, that's when you have those moments where you're able to look at everything that's going on and just have so much more clarity on the steps that you need to take, and you solve problems. When you're sat in front of the computer, and sometimes I just sit here looking at something, I'm like, why can't I think right now? I'm so overloaded with how many things I've done today, and the minute you leave the house, it's like, shit, there's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The amount of to-do lists I've made in the gym, it's just like
yeah. But then you work out shit. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes I do that. It's like, I get in the gym and then the phone comes out and I read one Slack message, and then all of a sudden, like, I'd start skipping sets and my rest. It's terrible, but there we go. So if people want to follow your journey, if they want to see how quickly you do scale this bad boy, and maybe just the ride, what's the best place for them to follow you? What social channels are you most active on? And I'll make sure I put some links in the description.
Yeah, for sure. My Instagram's Rough Idea Digital. That's the business name, Rough Idea Digital. And look, we're not been too active at the moment on there, but I think we're, like I said, we're getting the results, we're getting the case studies, all that sort of stuff. So that is on the to-do list to get it firing. But yeah, Instagram probably the best place to find us at the moment.
Nice. Cool, man. I'll put a link in the description for everyone. Ollie, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, man. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you over the next year.
Thanks, man. I'm looking forward to learning from you.